Okay, I think we are live. I totally dropped the ball on, well, everything this week. It's been a bad week. But I just now uploaded the reference photo if you want that. The reference photos, I'm going kind of loosely based on that just so that we have a couple of things to look at for the fireworks. You can draw yours however you want. This is so easy. Really, it's just a fun thing. Like if you wanted to do scrapbook card or like a card for somebody that you want original art on that you can do really quickly, this is a project for you. It's just fun. So, oh look, Colored Pencil Magazine is here. How fitting. You want the best colored pencil magazine? Like, as far as I'm concerned, the only one. Go check out Colored Pencil. Is it coloredpencilmag.com? I don't go to the website itself enough. I download it. I get it through the app. I get the digital copy, so it just goes to my phone automatically each month. It's wonderful. You should definitely check them out if you are a colored pencil artist. Like, wonderful, wonderful magazine. Great information in it. I can't say enough good about it. And I've written some articles for it, so that means it's amazing, right? I'm kidding. I mean, I have written the articles, but I'm not that full of myself. I'm sort of full of myself. Anyway, moving on. Reference photos I was supposed to upload yesterday. I didn't. They are over at Patreon right now. Go to patreon.com/Lachri. They should be public if I didn't screw that up too. My brain, not here. So that is available to you. What else am I forgetting? I'm working today on, this is the black Canson Mi-Teintes paper. Now, if you were here for my box opening, the end of the live stream on Wednesday, I mentioned I got a bunch of big Canson Mi-Teintes paper from Dick Blick, and it came kind of folded in half. Oops, I don't need that. It came like folded. It had a huge crease. I contacted Dick Blick, just said, problem with my order here, sent them the photos with it. Right away, I don't even have to respond back. They're just like, okay, go ahead and dispose of that paper. It's now scratch paper. I can't bring myself to just throw it away. But go ahead and dispose of that, and they shipped me the new one already. So if you ever have a problem with Dick Blick, I know Jerry's Artorama, I've had something similar happen. They're really good. Like if you get supplies from any company and there's anything wrong with it, whether it could be the corner of the paper is bent. I didn't pay for bent paper. Don't just take it and then be frustrated and angry. Contact the company that you bought it from, whichever company. A good company is going to replace that for you very, very easily. So in this case, the box they put it in, I feel was a bit too flimsy. So I don't even blame the post office for that one. I think, maybe it was UPS, FedEx, whoever delivered it. I think that it wasn't properly packaged. They take care of it. So never get frustrated if you do get an item and it's not quite right. They're really good. I'm not affiliated with them. Although they did recently contact me about setting up an affiliate. Maybe I should do that. Anyway, let's see. Hi, Sneaks. Hi Tanya from Denmark. You're watching from far away. Hello. Hope everyone is doing well today. Thank you, Heather, for reminding me. And then when I got to my computer, I saw Nick was messaging me. Nick, I need to make sure you and Joseph both have my actual text because where's my phone? Oh, good. I've got it near me. I don't always, I have my notifications for Facebook turned off because I don't typically use the chat feature because it's too much and it gets overwhelming. So I need to make sure you've got a better way to get a hold of me. A quick thing before we start. Wow, we're only 4 minutes in. I'm not that late. I'm waiting for a expensive for me, maybe not that expensive, but it is very expensive for me, Orchid to be delivered today. It wasn't supposed to come till Monday, and my mail comes at like somewhere between 2:30 and 3. If that Orchid comes, I have to run up the street. I know this is just terrible. This is so unprofessional, but I'm not going to, my neighborhood doesn't have normal mailboxes. We have these parcel lockers, and they've put my plants in there before, even though it says to keep out of heat, instead of dropping it off at my front door, and it bakes the plant. Like it's like being in a very, very, very hot oven. So if that happens, I am not letting a $50 plant die. That is a lot of money for me. So I'm going to be running out if that happens. I'm waiting for the notification. So anyway, just a warning, if I take off running, we all know why. I don't think this project will run that late anyway, so we should be good. Okay. So I think we are good to go. So I've got my black paper. This is Canson Mi-Teintes. I'm working on the smooth side. If I were working in pastels or charcoal or something, well, charcoal I wouldn't work. Well, I guess white charcoal I could. I would work on the more rough side, but in this case, we're going to go with the smooth side. Now, let's see. Am I missing anything here? Yeah, we're good. Hi, DJ. Yes, Sneak said if your plant arrives, run, Lisa, run. Yeah, it's an orchid. It's a Phalaenopsis. It's a secondary hybrid. So they're a bit more sensitive because it's closer to a species. It's a shill. I can never say it. I had 2 babies of that one. I'm going to use my Caran d'Ache today. Well, I'll be using all my stuff, but I'm going to start with, let's bring out a opaque color. I'm going to just bring out, actually, I'm going to bring out my Drawing Chinese white. So whatever opaque white you have, if that's Prismacolor, if it's Caran d'Ache Luminance, those are going to be your most bright white pencils. So that's what we're going to start with today. But if it's that plant I had years ago, I had 2 babies, and this is when I was still kind of figuring out how to take care of orchids, and they weren't getting enough light, and I did lose them. So I've been watching ever since, and over the past few years, the prices, like I spent like $12 on 2 babies before, for the total of the 2. They got really expensive over the years, like getting on eBay, buying orchids, like specific ones that I want. So anyway, I've been watching forever, felt super sorry for myself this week, had a bit too much wine the first night that the drama happened, and was like, screw it, $50, I need that plant. So I have to run out and buy it or grab it. But anyway, Casey said, hey, I was trying to get this traced and transfer, but I couldn't find the picture. Follow the link that's here on Patreon. Yeah, because I'm bad and I failed this week. But you don't need to have this traced out at all. I'm going to show you, we're going to freehand this on here. I don't do that often, but in this case, there's really no need to pre-draw this because they're fireworks. You can do however you want that to be. Air compressor going off. So what I'm going to do is figure out where do I want the center of my fireworks. I'm going to go, the reference photos, if you head over to that link now, it should be there now. But if, I just did it like 3 minutes ago. So what I'm going to do is put the centers with the white pencil of where I want these to be. So we'll go one here, and I'm going to do maybe one down here, and they're going to overlap. And then maybe another one. This one will go kind of off the page, I think. And we can put more on here. I may go, we've got this. This is the, seriously, easiest project ever. We can go back and add more if we want, or grab another piece of paper and draw more fireworks. Like, this is very, very quick thing. Like, not much for blending, not much for easy. So now that I've got my centers, I'm gonna actually make mine a little bit bigger. I'm pushing a little harder than I normally would with a pencil because I really want this very opaque and to stay pretty bright. So those are going to be our centers. The next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to switch now to, let's see, I may just go by the one the portrait reference photo. So let's go ahead and grab I'm going to use this coral color. This one is the, oh, I can't say that. Pink is what this one is called. Starts with an A. I'm going to call it coral. I really should have been the one they hired to name these pencils. So I'm going to do this and go ahead and do some dots for how far out I want the circle to be. Now you can do a few things on this. You can take something that's an actual circle. Let's see. Oh, that's actually a pretty good size for this firework. So I just grabbed some tape. You might have an old CD. I keep old discs because of drawing circles when I airbrush. I use it a lot. Any circle that you've got, but if you don't have a circle, just freehand it. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you look at the reference photo, you see areas come out further than others. So let's just go ahead and, do I want to go the inside or the outside? Meh. Let's go on the outside. And I'm just going to put a few dots going around. And this is going to help me to keep in a mostly circle. And you'll see this when I lift it. In a mostly circular shape. So just little dots, and this is, like I said, going to help. And you can do the same method if you're doing dandelions. You can do dandelions very similar to this. Maybe we'll do that on an upcoming live stream. I think a dandelion would be, maybe we'll do that next Friday. That sounds fun. I think that's going to be the plan. I'll find a good dandelion, and you wouldn't have to do it on black paper. You could do it on blue paper. I've got all of that new Canson Mi-Teintes, different shades of grays, so I think are going to do a dandelion next week. So very, very similar techniques. And now let's see another circle, or you can freehand it. Like I said, you don't have to, in this case, I'm going to go with a cream color, kind of a yellowy color. So I'm going to use brown ochre 50% and just dot in about where I want that to be. Again, doesn't need to be perfect. Like this one has so many dots on the inside. I really don't need to worry about it being too accurate. And that one is going to overlap into this one. And now you know I can't draw a circle. So the next one, let's see, this guy kind of isn't a full circle. He'll be in blue. I'm trying to stay with the kind of red, white, and blue. We'll go semi-theme. Somebody asked me if I was going to do a 4th of July theme, and I said no. And then I was like, wait, fireworks are fun, and everyone all around the world, that would fit anybody. Do whatever colors, that fit what you like. So let's go ahead and do some more dots. I'm just going to put some in the blue to keep up with about where I want this to go. Now this guy's a little bit different. He kind of widens up out here a little bit. So he's shaped a little different. So now we've got our general shape. Now the little white lines coming down, we're not going to worry about that just yet. You don't even have to add those if you don't want to. Let's see. Well, I'm missing some questions here. Tanya said, so lovely with the live stream at this time here in Denmark. It's 8 p.m. Normally I have to set my alarm at 3 a.m. Oh, 3 a.m. That is early. Sergio, Wade's squeaking his toys on accident by readjusting himself. He's laying on his squeaky toys. Sergio said, these Friday streams are the artistic equivalent of a cold drink before you start, or before the weekend starts for me. Thank you. I'm glad you like them. I wanted to do something super simple. It's been a long week, and I was like, what is the easiest thing I can think of, but that also fits with, you know, celebrations. Leah said, joined Patreon yesterday. Love the way you have set up the video library. Makes it so much easier. Oh, I'm glad you like that. I actually need to update that. I haven't updated it in a few weeks, so I've got some more to add to the video library, more recent stuff. Okay. Here we go. So let's see, which one do I want to go with? I think in this case, let's start, and the blue one actually comes up behind this guy. Now, it doesn't make a huge deal which one you go with. Normally, I like to start with whatever is farthest back and work my way forward. In this project, it really isn't going to matter that much because you can work in between. We're not doing a lot in the way of blending. I mean, it's layering where I don't even think I'll need to get my OMS out today. Man, I should have brought chicken in for this because I don't need my OMS. But just in case, well, I do change my mind. We'll leave him in his chicken room. Okay, so now we're just going to take some lines going through here. Now we want some variation in the length. If we look at the reference photo, again, I'm using the one that's the portrait one that has just 3 fireworks, but you can do this on the other one. I liked both photos a lot. We're just going to make some lines. Now, these lines aren't going to stay just this color. We're going to have to come back through and add a little bit of highlight and a little bit of a shadow, but we don't need to really blend with OMS. So this is a super easy one, and we're just going to make these lines. They don't even have to be straight. Don't sit there with a ruler. They'll look too unnatural. And we're going to go all the way to the end of where we put those dots. We've got a few that come out a little further. We've got some shorter ones. And we're just going to build that up. Now we want these to be a little bit thicker on some of these, so I'll go back over. Now I do recommend a couple of things here, or want to point out a couple of things. I have, and I need to adjust the color on this because nighttime streams versus daytime streams don't look the same. Let me go ahead and adjust that because that looks not like what mine looks like. But a couple of things. I've got masking tape here. This is just normal, cheap hardware store masking tape. I do not recommend this on your artwork. It's not archival. It's not pH neutral. So what you would want to use is a pH neutral masking tape on work that you're going to sell. That would be the best way to go. That one, it's a black one that I use. I think I get it from Amazon. Link might be on my website. It might not. I really need to update that. But make sure it's an acid-free, pH-neutral masking tape when you do tape the edges of your work. Here, I don't really care about this one. This is just a quick little project, so I'm not going to waste my good stuff that I keep forgetting to reorder. So that's why I chose to use this on that one. But this is one of those do as I say, not as I do. What's the other thing? There was a second thing I wanted to point out. And I don't remember what it was yet. So let me go ahead and adjust the coloring on this. Let's see. It looked accurate before I started, but once I got the color on there, I'm like, wow, that is really muted. That is closer. It makes my hand weirdly colored, but that is a lot closer in the color, kind of. That should be good-ish. We'll go with that for now. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, and again, I so apologize for not getting those reference photos up yesterday. Completely flaked out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and push a little bit harder. This is going to blend in because I'm getting that really rough look, which I don't super love. So we'll give it a little bit more pressure. I mean, now, normally when I work with colored pencil, whoops, that one went a little, I should pay attention to what I'm doing. Normally when I work with colored pencil, I don't like to push very hard with the pencils early on, because it makes it so that you damage the tooth of the paper, which prevents you from getting good layers later on. Like you can only get so many layers if you've done what we call burnishing. Burnishing, you're pushing harder, you're jamming the pencil into the paper and it flattens the paper out. You can't get a lot of layers after that. Here, we don't need a lot of layers. So we just want it to be nice and smooth and blended, and we can come back through with our polychromos. You can come back through with whatever pencils you have, but I'll probably use the polychromos just because they're harder. So it'll smooth that out. I'm just getting a little bit more variation, so some of these are a bit thicker, and then we'll do a bunch in between. Actually, some of the ones that are in the distance, we can tone down a bit. I think that would be good with our polychromos. And with this one, that is medium flesh. I believe they renamed those. Yeah, it's almost the exact same color, and it shows up just as well. Yeah, I'm actually liking my polychromos better for this color. But I think they renamed that, which I really like because the word flesh kind of grosses me out. It's weird. Just a very odd word. Now, if we left it just like this, it's going to be flat, so we're not going to. This is where we'll come back through, get some highlights, get some shadows. I need to come in a lot further. And see, it's very forgiving. This is why it's so easy. You can't mess this up. I mean, even where I messed it up, I just erased it. You can't permanently mess it up, I should say. Paul said, is the white polychromos good for this or the white charcoal better? Oh, if you're using colored pencil, I would go with the white polychromos over a charcoal. The charcoal is going to be, it's going to blend out weird. That's not going to be suitable for this project. I mean, if you're just using pastels and charcoals, then that's fine. But that's not what, if you're going with colored pencil, otherwise I would go with the white polychromos. It actually shows up decent on this. Okay, I need to get a couple more in here. But see how I've got variation, so they're not all exact. Now, one thing I am going to do is come out on all of the dots that I made. I'm going to make sure that my little lines at least reach those so I don't have those showing up too much. Again, pushing a little harder than normal, making it nice and blended and when I say blended, I'm burnishing so that I don't get that super bumpy look. There we go. Okay. Now, the great thing too, let's say like here, I think I went a little too overboard. No big deal. I can come back through with my black, and I'll probably use a darker blue so I get a little bit more depth there to correct, like I said, you can't mess anything up. You'll see as we move forward. This is so nice. Bitalani said, is it okay to use basic tape to tape down tracing transfer paper over your drawing paper, or it won't rip? Does it need to? Okay, so when I use tracing and transfer paper, I never tape it to the artwork itself. I'm taping it, and that's a good question. I always tape the tracing and transfer, and I use regular masking tape, but I tape it to whatever my drawing board is, not the artwork. Heather said, the newly released Luminance names have a lot of name issues. Oh no, I haven't even looked at them. Did the sound go? Is anyone else having issue with sound? Let me see. Nope, we definitely have sound. So, okay. Maybe try refreshing. No, you can't hear me if that's the case. Unless is it sounding weird? Yeah, okay. Joseph says it's fine. Okay, so now I'm going to go with a deeper kind of a reddish magenta type color. Let's see what color I want to go with. This one's pretty. It's not really magenta. I think it was a scarlet. I like that. Something, actually, I think my polychromos are going to be good. Oh, hold on. Let's see what we've got in our light fast set too. I have some good colors in there. You do not have to use the same, oh, that one is nice. You don't have to use the same color as me at all. Oh, I like this. Okay, I'm going to be using, this one is the Derwent Light Fast, the Cherry Red. It's kind of a magenta red, leans closer to purple on the color wheel than it does to orange. So I'm going to go ahead and sharpen that a bit. And like I said, you don't have to use the same pencils. You don't have to use the same colors. Grab whatever you want. The goal here is that we want this firework especially to have 3 tones in it. We're going to have the medium tone that we have here. I'm going to be coming on now with a darker tone for some of the edges, and like the beginning and the ends. And then in the center, we're going to put some highlights. So that gives us a bit more depth. It's not just flat lines. So we're going to come through. And now, oh, this is another tip. I am resting my hand on the artwork. I don't recommend this. If you're trying to create something that's archival, ideally put something under your hand. That could be a piece of tracing paper. I prefer glassine. It keeps any of the oils from your skin from going through. It's acid-free. Everything about it is good. Nothing sticks to it. But I'm being lazy here. So there you go. I am still putting a bit of pressure because I don't plan, these are such thin lines that I don't want to blend it with OMS to smooth it out. So I'm going to be smoothing it out by pushing a little harder with that pencil than I normally might. we're just gonna go around the edges, and we're gonna do it on the inside too. So I've gotten really lucky. I was worried about my dogs being terrified of fireworks. Wade's not a huge fan, but he's more of a, man, I'd rather just not be outside right now. Gibson will go sit outside with me while they're going off, because they, in my neighborhood down, it's not really my neighborhood, it's further down, but you can see and hear them pretty well when the city puts them on, or their neighborhood, whatever it is. And I'm so grateful the boys are not terrified of them. Wade, I won't take on a walk when they're going off, because he does get a bit jumpy, but he's not like end of the world like how some dogs get. So I got off easy there. I was a bit worried about our first 4th of July, how they were going to handle that. I shouldn't be too surprised by Gibson. There can be a huge thunderstorm, and he's like, can I go stand out in it? This looks like fun. Such a derp. JL said, hello, Lisa. If you are still looking for a quicker project, would something with the Faber-Castell graphite aquarelle work? Yeah, they definitely would. That could be one that we can do on a live stream for sure. And that's one that I do want to do. I think I have it written down somewhere too. And that's one that I've got coming up. I don't have it over here. Remind me at the end of the stream, I'll show you the drawing I have for a turtle that we're going to be doing. It's a longer, that one will be on Patreon, but it's a longer watercolor, and the aquarelle pencils, the graphite aquarelles mixed together. So I'll have part in black and white, part in color. I'm so excited. But I've got another project ahead of that I'm working on first, but that one is all drawn out and ready to get started. Okay, so we've gone all the way around this. Now we're going to come in the center and go through, just get those edges. If you go on the black a little, doesn't really matter at all, like even a little. There we go. Where are we? Paul said, I have watched your computer as a light box, and it makes my life easier. No more grid lines, no more measuring for reference points. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, it's so much easier. I was never really good with the grid. It's like math is involved in trying to get it. No, it's not for me. I did the one time I was like, okay, I'm going to be serious about this. I'm going to make it perfect. I was going to do it on a portrait, and it was slightly skewed. I just erased it all and freehanded it, and that was perfect. Like, I can freehand so much better than I can. The grids, just my brain is like, nope. And that's not to say grids are bad. It's just not how my brain works. Okay, let's go with a light. I'm confusing. I really like how the Derwent Light Fast are showing up on this. For the centers, I'm going to grab, this one is Flesh Pink. Again with the flesh, it's a gross word. It makes me think of zombies. Oh wait, now I think it's a cute word. Oh, there we go. Problem solved. And I'm just gonna go a little bit in the centers. Just get a little bit of highlight. It's not sticking super well, but it is blending really nicely. And I'm not trying to cover up all of that coral color that I'm renaming, because I can't say opera that other pink. He looks nice and shiny. I think we can even come up with a yellow. A little bit of yellow in some of the center areas would look nice. Look how not perfect I'm being on this. There's no need. Minal said, can you please do some more palette knife tutorials of animals? I have not done anything with a palette knife in forever, have I? Okay, let's try some yellow. I'm gonna switch over to, let's see if this works. Now here's a big tip with colored pencil or with any medium. A lot of times people will do the whole, but I need to know what color you're using, whether it be paints, with colored pencils, whatever. I need to know the color you're using, because I don't typically, unless I'm sitting right here, I'll tell you. But like when I'm doing a longer tutorial, I've got 50 pencils out. It's not practical or useful for you to know the exact color. It makes no difference. It makes very little difference, I should say. What you're going to do is what I'm doing here. I'm like, I wonder if this color will look good. Let's make a couple lines. It's okay. I don't hate it. If I did hate it, put it down, grab another pencil. Don't overthink it. We get so worked up in wanting someone to hold our hand so tightly that we can't make our own choices. Stop depending on somebody else to tell you what color you're using. If you want to progress, take off those training wheels. And you might think, well, I'm not ready. You're never going to be ready if you don't take off the training wheels. Stop expecting somebody else to do the work for you. Tutorials are great. I'm so glad that there are lessons out there that can give us all tips. I mean, I've gotten great tips from tutorials and books and such, but it gets to the point where you know, to follow a couple of lessons if you want, but then take off those training wheels. Then grab a pencil, and if you like how it looks, great. If you don't like how it looks and you're like, maybe not, put it down, try another one. You didn't ruin anything if you make a couple of pencil strokes. And if you're really worried, grab a piece of paper, a scratch paper, ideally whatever, the scratch of whatever the current paper you're using so that it comes out the same, and test it on that and see if you like what it looked like. But don't worry about everything being exact. What matters are your values. Are your darks dark enough? Your lights light enough? That's what's going to make the biggest difference in your work looking realistic. A lot of people think, and I was there too, trust me, where I thought if I just knew what color that artist used to paint that tiger, if I knew the perfect orange colors, I could make mine realistic too. Had nothing to do with why my work didn't look realistic. It didn't look realistic because I did not focus on values. Are your darks dark enough? Your lights light enough? There's no one perfect color. Here, I've now used what, 4 colors to get this firework to look how I wanted. There's no one color for anything, and it all comes down to your values. Dark's dark enough, light's light enough. That is what's gonna push your work from being decent, I mean, I can tell it's a tiger, to, wow, that looks like a photograph. I could do a tiger in purple. I need to do a video like that because I use that example all the time. I can make a tiger in purple and he's just gonna look like he's under purple lighting. It'll still look like a realistic tiger if the values are correct. That is what matters. You're gonna want variation. Sneak said, least favorite word, squat. I never thought about that one. I don't think that one bothers me too much. Now it might. Let's see. Can I do, okay, got that one. Casey said, wish you could see how we are busting up laughing during these lives. Is it because I'm making a fool of myself? Okay. So, this guy looks pretty good. I'm going to take a dark, dark blue, and I'm going to go with my polychromos, or purple. Purple would work too. I'm going to go with blue. Let's see which one this is. Polychromos tends to be a bit easier on naming their words. And I lied. Helio, oh no, I can say that. Helio reddish. Helio blue reddish. Too many words. I'm going to sharpen that. I'm going to come in between some of these. And what this is going to do is make my black look even darker. It's not that bluish, but it makes the black look deeper because it's not just flat black. I'm coming in between, cleaning up where I had to erase a bit earlier. If you need an eraser for colored pencil, the one that really the only one I use now for colored pencil, I used to use several, but the one that I use, this one's from Mexico, so it looks a little bit different, but it's still the Faber-Castell. The one from the US, do I have one over here? I really should bring those over here because I have a ton of them. They're the Perfection Eraser, and it has a little brush on the end so you can wipe your erasing marks away. Those are really, really nice. Now, they aren't going to bring your paper back to like white, or in this case it was a little fuzzy because of being over black, but what it is going to do is lift up enough pigment that you can put another pigment on top, and that new pigment on top should stick pretty well. So those work really well. That is my absolute favorite eraser for colored pencil. There we go. And he's good. See how easy this is? It's just like so, I don't know. I like projects like this when you just want kind of a relaxing, like, I don't want to think today. I just want to play with my pencils and have fun. Okay, so now I'm going to go to an orange color. Let's see how well, I'm really liking how my polychromos and my light paths are actually showing on these. Let's go ahead and sharpen that and see how this shows up. Maybe good, maybe terrible. This one is cadmium orange. Oh, it's easy. I can say that one. Gonna make a few little, yeah, that shows up fine. A few little guys sticking out. And then I'm gonna go back to that flesh, or we'll call it zombie pink color, right in the center, right around the edge, just so we get a little bit of a glow. And actually, that same cadmium orange, I'm going to do that. I forgot to do that around here. Let's go right around the outside. I'm leaving the inside or white, but let's go around the edge there. I also, now that I'm looking at that, I'm going to get a few little guys in here. I say I'm done, and then I notice something else I want to do. Paul said, I love the Luminance color set because it's earthy and not like Prisma 150. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love the Prisma. I do wish though. One thing that I love, there are certain pinks and bright colors, but they're not light fast, so that's why. But the Prismacolor has that I wish like Luminance or any other company that makes light fast pencils would make. And I know that the reason that they don't isn't because they're being mean to us and don't want to give us light fast colors. It's hard to make those colors light fast. I really want more bright pinks. I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to use them in Prismacolors anyway because they're not light fast, but I do wish. It's like my one complaint. Okay, so now I'm going to use, I'm trying to think how I want to do that one. I think I'm going to go ahead and go back with my, this is the Brown Ochre 50%. Hold on, someone's at my door. Let me make sure it wasn't my plant being lit up. Actually, that would be amazing if it was, but I doubt it was. Hold on, I don't even know where that app is. Was it me? No, I didn't go outside. Look, I dropped off. Activating. Oh, do I not have Wi-Fi on? No, I do. Apparently, we're just not going to activate. Can I look at you? Person detected. Please play. Oh, hold on. I have to run outside. It looks like it might be my plant. And this is easy because it's just at the front door. I will be right back. Free really quick so we can get some air because the box is pretty hot. So give me just a second. I am the best professional artist sitting here like doing the colored pencil like I said I was going to. This box smells like patchouli. Not a fan. Okay, I'll actually show you. Hopefully he came out or shipped well. Let us. Oh man, that really smells like patchouli. I have a feeling that people who grow this grow things other than just orchids. Please be okay, please be okay. Oh, you look good. Oh, and he's packed well. That leaf is really soft though. I'm glad that we opened him. So this is, yes, I spent too much money on my little, like, see how his leaves are variegated? That is the thing that I love about this one. Why do you have a leaf off to the side? That makes no sense. You also look like you have potential, oh, there's a web, but your leaves don't look like you have spider mites. I did make a video, I just need to finish editing it, showing you guys how to repot orchids. Let's get him some air real quick and I will get back to work. Let's see. Sneak said you're gonna want to see your plant too. Okay, good. Let's see. I am impressed with how this seller packed this plant. He definitely gets a good review for that. How weird though, the leaves switch directions that they're growing. No, it's just growing sideways. It's normal. Get that out. That moss is really wet. So hopefully, let's see if we can see what the roots look like because that's a big deal. On these guys, with orchids, everything is about the roots. The roots go bad, the plant, like that is kind of the thing with keeping orchids. Oh, this is terribly warm, but not as hot as I've seen. Come on out of there. Come on, I don't want to hurt you, but I need to see your roots. Come on. You don't want to let go. Why are you stuck in there that much? Okay, where's a trash can? We need to, oh, we'll just put it in the box. What I'm doing is pulling this moss out so his roots can get some air and I can see what those roots look like. Because that is pretty much going to let me know if this plant will live or not, if he's got decent roots. So, oh, they look wonderful. So see, these nice bright green roots. These are healthy, healthy roots. This plant is an extreme, like, it's a bit soft right now from shipping and being out in the heat, but it is in very, very good condition otherwise. Hopefully that leaf is the only thing that concerns me because it's a little, I don't know if you can see how wiggly that is. Hopefully that will firm up. It's a new leaf, and new leaves can be soft, but it's not that new. So yay, it looks like he should be good. As long as that leaf ends up not having issues. Let's stick him next to us. He can help us draw today. There you go. You sit on the easel. You can't see him, but he's gonna help. Okay, let's focus. What are spider mites? Jason said. Spider mites are a type of parasite that gets in, and so like actually he can't be over with my other orchids. It's a little bit risky for me to even have him this close. I think he's okay. Spider mites get on. It can be any plant, but with orchids, you'll see sap on the underside of the leaves. That's kind of one of my first signs where I'm like, oh, I need to look into that. The other thing is when you get a heavy infestation of spider mites, you will get this fine webbing. They're almost microscopic. You can, like, they're tiny, but you'll notice this fine webbing. And that webbing, it can be from a real spider or it could be from spider mites. So anytime I see webbing, I'm always like, I'm gonna be a little concerned right now, just in case. Yeah, Mary said, talk to it and he will thrive. And I'm a dork. I totally talk to my plants. I'm like, oh, you look thirsty today. Let me help you. But I have used a systemic treatment for orchids. They're indoors. I don't like to use any kind of chemicals like that as much as possible I haven't needed to outside, but inside, because they're not, it's not coming in contact with bees or anything in here. The only thing that I've used that worked for spider mites was one, when I water weekly, rinse off the leaves every single time to try to keep the numbers, because I had a big infestation in 2017 when I ended up in the hospital. I had a few weeks, my orchids got a bit dry. I wasn't taking care of them and it got out of control there. But anyway, it was a rose. It's Bare Rose mite spray. And so, like I said, I wouldn't want to use it on plants outdoors because I don't know what I'm going to hurt out there. But indoors, that did work. But I don't want it with my other plants because I don't want to spread that. So let's see. Heather said we need to name him. Yes, we do. This is, I can never say it. Schilleriana. It's a foul. Phalaenopsis. That's what most of my orchids are. But yes, so I don't know if you need to know that to come up with a name, but yes, he needs a name. Kathy said, this is why I love your streams. I learned a lot about art and assorted other things. Starving Artist Collective said, okay, what's the new baby plant's name? See, you guys know. You know we have to name everything. He is Groot. That actually is cute. DJ Fred again. So Fred, everyone keeps wanting to name all my plants Fred. Fred's my dad's name. We named my hibiscus one Fred and one Leslie after my parents. So Fred, I used to name everything Fred, so I guess we could just keep doing that. But And for the red-eyed tree frogs that I'll be getting, that we were coming up with names, somebody suggested World of Warcraft theme. They're murlocs. They're essentially murlocs. So one is going to be murky. One is going to be, what was the other one I had? Murky. Oh, my brain just shut down. I had it. It was, I can't remember I had 3 of them picked out. But there was Sir Finley Murgledon or something like that was one. And I forget what the third one was. But murky. Why can't I think of the other one? I was considering Cookie from Dead Minds, but those who don't play Warcraft have no idea what we're talking about. But yeah, let's see. Okay, so yeah, I'm really hoping this guy does well because I have wanted another one of those. He's way bigger than the ones I had. Okay, work, paying attention. So I'm using the brown ochre 50%, and I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of make little soft, I'm not gonna go super dark on this. We're gonna come in the middle of these to lighten them up. And when I lighten them, here, based on that photo, if I wanted it to be more like that, I could just use this, push a little harder to have the brighter area. But I think I want mine to be even brighter, so I can either use my Derwent drawing or any other one. But see how I can come in the center of some of these? So we'll come through. Actually, we can even simplify this. Let me see if this will work. So again, going back to, we experiment. If something doesn't, you try it one way, like I tried where I made the soft background first and then the bright part in the center. Let's see what happens if I do the bright part in the center first, because I think that might be easier. And then just lightly around. Yeah, I like that way better. Okay, so I'm going to go through and all around here, pretty much making polka dots, and we want to cluster some of them together. Don't just make them all spread out evenly. That won't look right. So this is kind of similar to stars, where you get clumps and clusters of them where they'll sort of overlap. And I'm using my Derwent Drawing Chinese white because it's my most opaque white, but whatever white you have, that can work. Let's see. Andrea said, I love the name for the frogs, but I have a love-hate relationship with Murlocs. Fidelani said, my dad's name's everything Fred too. We're big Flintstone fans. How about Archie the Orchid? Nitro and glycerin for very green tree frogs. That's cute too. Frog legs. Yeah, I know for sure we're gonna go for Murlocs. My husband was helping me look up names last night of the named ones. So Murky was one because I remembered that, and I can't remember Sir Finley Myrtledon. And if you look up Murloc names, Murlocs do this weird sound. Wow, that actually is pretty good. And that's like how they talk, and so that's kind of like how the names are written out a lot. But it was Murky, and there's another one. And I love Murlocs. I actually have a little figurine of Murlocs. Other people get figurines of like the main characters. I'm like, nope, Murlocs for me. Yeah, Jason, didn't I withdraw your ability to name animals last? What were you naming them that I said you can't name anything anymore? I don't even remember now, but I do remember that conversation. Believe it or not, I remembered something. Poor Jason. I never keep up with, like, I misunderstand him all the time. Like, every comment, I misread and misunderstand. It's bad. So see how I'm getting these dots in between here? I'm gonna get a little bit of variation on some of these. Some can be a little bit darker than others, or brighter, I guess. I'm so glad that plant was delivered to my door and not, because this would have been a terrible time to have to run out there, because it's about a 5-minute walk to my mailbox. And that makes it sound like I have a huge yard. No, the mailboxes are these lockers that are like up the street. That is one of the least things I like about, and I guess it's really just common in this city, like how they do the mail, which normally I wouldn't care about, but they'll put things in there that get way too hot. I had some moss I ordered, and I was surprised it lived, like really surprised. Some of it's dying off, but most of it's doing well. That is not a circle. Oh, because my line comes out here. Pay attention, Lisa. It was hot to the touch. Like I felt like it came out of the oven. Like I need oven mitts to touch the moss. It was on, like really hot. I'm so surprised it lived. And it said all over the box to keep away from heat. And the mail person's like, meh, I don't feel like dropping this off at her door where I would drop off other packages. I'm going to shove it in a parcel locker where it really doesn't fit anyway and let it cook. Thanks. They did that with, I just got a new, those ones I actually got it for a good price. Some Phalaenopsis Stewartianas are my favorite phal. And I got 2 babies, were pretty cheap. And so, you know, one apparently isn't enough for me. Now I have 3. So I got that guy, and he was pretty hot too, but it's 2 little babies. They're doing really well though. So see how these start clustering? So we've got a few little open spots. It seems to be more full on the outer edge, and then a little bit less as we move in. How about Frodo? Lord of the Rings fan here. That's actually really cute too. God, I'm relieved that plant is okay. I was super worried about ordering that because after I ordered him, because like I said, I wasn't making the best choices the night I ordered him. It hit me like crap. I should not be ordering things this time of year between it being hot and the way our mail service is doing stuff. And I saw yesterday, I didn't realize this, our mail people aren't using mail trucks all the time. They're using their personal pickup trucks. So all those boxes are sitting out in the bed of their truck in the bright Texas sun. So everything is cooking. Like it's... I really shouldn't have ordered him this time of year. So this is a huge relief to me, as you can tell, because I'm super excited about him. So see how I'm leaving these little gaps? That I'll fill in some, but this helps me to start forming these clusters. Imagination Art said, what type of stand is that you're using for the webcam behind you? So this is a boom mic stand. It's something used by musicians. And if you're gonna get this, because it needs to be heavy enough to hold a heavier weight camera, unless you're using something lightweight. But if you are a musician, you've seen normal boom mic stand, that the mic continuously like slowly weighs down the stand and it keeps falling. So you want to, there are a couple things you want. One, needs to be heavy duty enough that it can handle a lot of weight. So make sure you get one that can. And then I have an adapter that lets me attach my cameras to it. The other thing is the base of this thing I can hardly lift. It is this big, huge piece of steel or something that weighs a ton. Maybe not a ton, but it weighs a lot. Like, it's like 20 pounds, I think, just for the base, at least. So like you can get boom mic stands that are maybe $15. This one was more like $100, and it is worth it because if you're using it for your cameras, you need something that can handle the weight of the camera. So that is, and I've had to replace it once. I've been using the boom mic stand since, gosh, 2000, I'd say 2015 I switched to this, right around there, maybe 2014, right around somewhere in that state thing. And it's great because it lets you move the camera like out instead of being at a tripod where I used to have to be at a super like way to the side. So they're really good, but you do want, I've replaced it once in that amount of time. One of something over here on the other, or no, something broke on the other one. But yeah, that's what that is. And you just want to make sure when you get them that you go ahead, I would recommend spend a little bit extra and get the heavier weight. Don't cheap out and think the $20 ones are going to last you very long, because they will not. Okay, so now we're going to come through with that brown ochre 50% or whatever you have. It's just kind of a tannish yellowy color. That's what I would have named it, tan yellowish. But I'm going to just go around the edges really lightly. I'm not going to try to blend this. I'm not burnishing because I want these to be very soft. And I'm just circling around all of those white dots. So it's, you know, tedious, but super easy. That is the theme today, super easy. Sneak said, you think that pencils can be damaged in this weather by getting too hot? Yeah, they absolutely can, especially like the wax-based, like a higher wax-based contact. Prismacolor would be one I would be concerned about, because some people have left theirs in the car and it like melted out of the casing. So it certainly can happen. I wouldn't want to leave it out in the car or in the trunk. Like if your art supplies are going somewhere, don't leave them in the car. Like definitely don't leave them in the car. And I wouldn't leave any art supply. I wouldn't leave hardly anything in the car at all right now. It's just too hot. Now, it depends on where you are. I'm in Texas, so right now it's like, what, 95? It's, let's see. Oh, do I need that? No, sorry, it's 94 right now. I think it's 94, and then it says feels like 105. It is really hot out, so you definitely could cause some damage to your supplies if you left them in an enclosed hot car. I mean, being warm is fine, but at least here in Texas, we definitely get too hot. Let's see. Mary wants to know if I have, there we go. Do I have a list of the equipment you use to stream with? I don't, but I need to make one. Not just for the stream, but just all of my video equipment. So I recently got a new just vlogging camera. I got that, and I got a whole, like just tons of equipment. Like this thing's really cool. Oops, and I just lost. That was bad. Hold on, let me fix this. There we go. I just got this little thing for holding the camera. This guy's pretty handy. I got I guess this is easier to show you here. I got a bunch of stuff like that, including camera bags so for me, I needed a bag that I could take with me everywhere, because I don't take my vlogging cameras with me. Like, they're not convenient. So I wanted something that was more like a purse, that I could have my camera with me more often when I go to like the fish store or the reptile store or whatever. I needed something for that, and I just couldn't find them. So I ended up finding one on Etsy. I found some, I take that back. I found some, but it was like $300 for what I wanted. Well, I found on Etsy a seller who makes camera bags that are just these cute purses at like, I mean, I want to say like $60, $70. They were way cheaper. So cute. So I want to do a review on those type of things. Everything that I use for my camera equipment, my vlogging, my everything. So I definitely need to get that video made. First, I've got to get that Orchid video. I am so behind on all the things. That is like my life my theme. If I had a theme, it would just be I'm behind on stuff. I'm almost like the white rabbit. I'm late, but mine is I'm behind. Let's see. Jason said, do you water the plants when you get them to assist with the transition to your temperature zone? I don't water right away. Like this guy is a bit wet. So one of the biggest mistakes that people make with plants is that they water too often. They let everything be too wet. You are far, far better to let a plant be too dry than too wet. Like far better. Plant can recover from being too dry. Like my pothos are one of my favorites because I just wait till they're limp. That's when I know you need to be watered. So I know I'm never overwatering. You're clearly thirsty and I mean not limp, but limp enough I can tell. So no, I don't jump straight into watering right away. But it depends on the plant. Some plants, if I feel it needs to be repotted, I've got to water as a part of the repotting process. I try not to oversaturate, but that doesn't always work out when you're trying to get dirt to go where you want it to go. So it depends on what it is. With the orchid, I like to repot orchids pretty early on because most orchids, when you buy them, they are in sphagnum moss. That's this stuff in here. But and this one isn't packed too tight. This one's actually, like the grower did a great job. But most of the time, it's packed super, super tight. That's what the growers will do, which works for growers, and they just don't water often. And by not often, I mean maybe once a month when it's the moss is that tight because it holds so much moisture in it. So with these guys, usually I will repot an orchid right away, normally. If it's in bloom, you're likely to throw it into shock and lose the bloom, but I would rather get the plant healthy and have it bloom nice next year than worry about keeping these blooms and chance losing it to root rot because the way the growers grow the orchids are not suitable for my environment. I guess that's a good way to put it. So with those guys, I typically will repot fairly early on. And especially with the orchids, I want to see what those roots look like anyway. So yeah, he will be probably repotted today or tomorrow. I think I've got a pot the right size for him. I'm just going around loosely circling all of those little things. Now let me see if I can zoom in so you can see this a bit better because it looks better on my screen than it does on yours. So let me see if I can fix that up. We always have to readjust these. I really look forward to the day that webcams are just good. Let's see. Brightness, contrast, maybe contrast. That actually did help a lot. That looks way more accurate. That may be all I need to change. Let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, that kind of helps. At least these look a little bit better to me in person, but that's better. Let's see. Oops, that just jumped. Growing up, where were we? 1 second, I'm just scrolling up. Oh, thank you, Mary Beth. She said, hi, Lisa. I so appreciate these streams. I was in the hospital when you did the koala, and that stream super cheered me up. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Aw. Let's see. Here, wait. There we go. Irritated Paintbrush said, it's almost midnight in my country. Having New Year vibes with viewing your art. Nice. Yeah, let's just start this year over again. I think that's a good plan. Jason, I got that one. Sergio said we need a pencil set named by you. Those would be hilarious colors. I'm gonna sit here one day with tape and retape my own names over everything. That would actually be a fun live stream. Casey said the names of the colors have to be fancy for all the sophisticated artists. That's funny. Carol said Old Murky. Old Murky, that might have been the other name that I think. It was Murky, and then was Old Murky one of them? I think that might have been one of the names. Let's see. There were a few. Cookie was one that I considered, just again, because from the Dead Mines. Old Murky, I think that was probably the other one I was thinking of. Phyllis said, those weather reports crack me up when they say it's 80 degrees, feels like 81. Who is that sensitive to temperature that they feel that? Yeah, it makes sense when it's like 80 degrees, feels like 95. Like, that's a pretty big jump. That makes sense because the humidity, which it has been humid here. Oh my gosh. It has not been super comfy. So, yeah, I'm going to put a few more in. Yeah, the 1 degree off. That's funny. It's kind of an ongoing joke with my husband and my mom and I, like when we're ever talking about the weather, like if it feels like 95, then it's 95. Just say it's 95. I mean, I know that's not how it works, so somebody's going to correct me. No, because this is the science. I know. We just think we're funnier than we are. My other favorite on the weather stuff is you pull up the app and it shows 0% chance of rain while it's raining or 100% chance of rain while it's not raining. Pizza Face said, it's the pizza again. I love the blue firework and the sunburst in it. How do you personally handle being overwhelmed when you have a lot of unfinished projects? I usually don't have unfinished projects. Right now is a little bit weird because I've got the koala going, but I know I'm only working on that on the Wednesday live streams. I've got the turtle going, which I'll show you at the end of the stream. And then I had to bump up it's over there. I'm doing an owl. So that's going to be the next Patreon video hopefully. We'll see, because it's an oil over acrylic, and I'm like, time-wise, am I going to get, I would have to have the owl finished tonight in acrylic, start in oils tomorrow, so I could finish Sunday. We'll see, because I also don't want to rush it. It is important, it's commissioned, so it does need to be very good. But I also have that turtle, like I said, and I don't like having lots going at the same time. It's just that right now was a little weird because I think I told you guys on Wednesday what had happened. I have paintings on my website. I don't sell on there often because I never tell you guys about it. Like, you can build it, they don't come. That's not how that works. Like, you have to build it and then tell everyone. I don't tell anybody. I'm busy with the videos. So I throw them on my website occasionally, but I don't market them like I would need to in order to get a lot of sales. So that painting's been up there for a couple years. I mean, it's been there for a while. And it's one of my favorite paintings. It's an owl. Actually, it's this guy. I'll show you which one we're talking about. This one I need to get shipped out tomorrow, or I think it won't go till Monday. But this guy, it's an oil over acrylic. And he was, like I said, he was painted in 2015. So he's been available for a bit. I'm afraid I'm going to mess him up if I put him there like that. You've been sold. You can't get messed up. There, that's safe. But anyway, somebody from Australia wanted to buy him, but we have to go through the process of figuring out shipping and which shipping he wants to go with. It's a little bit different when someone buys from overseas than when they buy in the U.S. In the U.S., they can just, buy it now and pay for it and everything's fine. But with we had to go through the whole process of shipping and getting that, that was which one he wanted and all of that. So it was still showing on my website, which I didn't think much of. I mean, the painting's been there for years and it's not like there's a huge demand for it. Well, then I woke up on Monday, so this was, and then Sunday was my drama day where we lost my Italian, I say lost, we don't lose them, we know where they are. We had to make the choice to let them go. They were senior, they were old, their health issues had gotten too much, and we couldn't let them go on and we let them go together. It was a bad day. And so I wasn't even paying attention to my website. Monday morning, I wake up, things aren't going, I'm still really upset. And that painting sold again. I'm like, what are the chances of all of these elements coming together for this perfect storm of, I just sold that painting twice. I felt horrible. So I contacted the person in the US, the second person who bought it. And I was like, hey, this is my fault. I screwed this up. I explained what had happened. I'm like, do you want me to either refund you right now or I'll do a custom one for you? I can do one, the colors you want, whatever bird you want, whatever background you want on that size. She decided she wanted the custom. So that I've got to bump it ahead of the turtle. That was a lot of words for that story. So that's the only reason I have two going right now, because that one takes priority, being that it was a screw up on my fault, whatever, the website, there were issues. So anyway, that guy is good. We're going to leave him alone and we're going to come down to this blue one. So as far as the unfinished projects, I normally don't do it. I normally won't. I finish everything before I go on to the next one, or else I won't ever finish anything. I don't recommend starting a bunch of new things before something else is finished, or it's very common just to not finish stuff. Casey said, I'm behind. Very important behind. No time to say hello, goodbye. I am behind, I'm behind, I'm behind. That is like my theme. That should just be on my website now. That is awesome. Let's see. Whoops, let's scroll back up. Oh, I'm missing a whole bunch. Hold on one second. There we go. Paul said, looking forward to the purple lion painting. Yeah, I'm going to need to do that. Jason said, I live in South Washington State and it's wet most of the time. Root rot is a problem. Oh, yeah, that would definitely be a problem. See, we get root rot on our outside stuff just because we have clay, so stuff doesn't drain real well. But it also gets hot enough that it typically will dry. So it's not usually that big of a deal as long as you're not overwatering here. Dan said, hey Lisa, do you think I can pull something off like this using grade cardstock? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this is not taking a lot of blending, a lot of layering. You absolutely can. Let's see. We've got, Shakat said, my orchids bloom 3 times a year and now I'm getting 2 or 3 stems each with 5 to 7 blooms. Makes me smile. That is awesome. I have one that blooms like that. Most of mine only bloom once a year, although one of mine that has never done this before, it finished its bloom and it's blooming again, or it's in spike again. And then I've got another one that I bought at Trader Joe's. It's just a no ID one, just big. It's mounted. He just keeps throwing out more flowers and he'll finish. And I'm like, okay, good. Cause the way he's mounted, when he's in bloom, that bloom spike is so long. It's very inconvenient because I don't have him in a pot where it goes up. And he's like, what? This is inconvenient. Here's another one. But he blooms several times a year too, like that. Jason said, I still like the frog legs. Nikki Chickadee said, maybe when you do a colored pencil live streams, you should do a dog cam so we can see Gibson and Waybear. That's a good idea. What do you think? Gibson's head is spilled over. I don't know if you can see. No, yeah, you can kind of see his head is spilled over onto the floor right now. He's looking at me like, just be quiet. I'm napping. That's a good idea though. Tasha said, temperature is subjective. No, I hate the cold. So if it were me, anything under 25 degrees Celsius feels like negative 30. Yeah, I'm not a person, I'm not a fan of cold myself. We'll get started on this guy in just a second. I just want to get caught up on comments. Art of Cayenne, I will butcher that name. How's the koala coming along? We got the branch mostly finished. We've got final details to do on that, which we will start next week. Although I'm torn on if we should just move on to the koala and then do the leaves and come back to the branch later for like final details then. Because that's what I often do when I paint on my own. I get everything mostly done and then I go back and spend time fussing over details, but those details don't usually show in videos because all it looks like is me moving my hand around, but it's such minor changes, you don't notice when it's sped up. So it might be kind of neat to do just the last 2-hour session with that of just final details. So I'm considering, I'm thinking over what's going to be most beneficial for you guys. Let's see. Jason said Lisa gets a personalized work of art with a piece that they lucked out on, and that she seemed happy with it. So we're doing that same painting, that same style background, but with phthalo blue instead of the purples. And I'm using an eagle owl that I got from Wildlife Reference Photo. Beautiful. I can't wait to paint it. I'm so excited. So I bought the reference photo for that guy, and I'll link you guys, I'll share it with you. The one thing, so my brain is all over. I love Wildlife Reference Photos. I really do wish, you can see which photos you've downloaded, but I wish there was a way that I could get the link from which ones I've previously downloaded so I could link it to you guys easier. That's one thing I would like different on their website. Okay, so this guy, he is going to be in blues, and I think I'm going to go with this one so that it'll show up better, and then I can go through and put some darker ones on top. This one is middle cobalt blue. Let's see. Rhonda said, will you have the mic stand listed below? I will need to. I definitely am going to need to do that. And I'm seeing a couple of people, the comments that are getting deleted, and I'm okay with it now. I'm not going to read them out loud, but losing my dogs was very, very hard. And we knew it was coming. We knew it was actually past time. But from last Wednesday, the moderators, I had asked everyone to just if I saw it, I would start crying. I think I've come a little bit more to grips with things, so you guys don't have to delete them. I should be okay, but I'm not going to read them out loud. Well, we'll see. I don't know. If I start crying, I'll have you start deleting them again. But that I had asked last week for no one to say anything about it because I want to let you know just because I kind of vague booked the post on Patreon and people were like, what happened? And so I wanted, That's what happened. But the people, if you're like, why are my comments getting deleted? It's because once I had asked people like, please don't tag me. I couldn't see it because I couldn't function. I'm a bit better today with it. So if you're like, why is my comment deleted? I just wanted to say sorry about your dog. That's because I couldn't handle it. I've been an emotional wreck. So the moderators are helping me not cry, basically. Daniel said, I saw your video on how to price your art. My question is, even though I'm not a beginner, I'm about to post my art online to sell. What would be an acceptable price range per square inch? See, and it's so hard to say. You're not a beginner, but if you don't have a following, it's not as much about, let's see, some of these are longer. Oh, wait, I'm jumping ahead here. Let's grab this orange pencil, or not orange, this was our zombie flesh color. It's not so much about how, I don't want to say that. I mean, how good you are, your skill level does matter, but what kind of following you've built, so what kind of demand is there for your art? That is what's going to dictate more. Now, you don't want to sell yourself short. Just because you don't have a following doesn't mean you should sell something for $50 that took you 2 weeks to do. Obviously, that makes no sense. But you also don't want to jump into, and I've seen people do this where they're like, I'm super attached to this, I want $3,000. You don't have a following. No one's going to pay that. You don't have a demand for your work. And so you've kind of got to find a balance. I can't tell you what it's worth. There's no way for me to know that. It's just, you've got to build that following. I mean, it's just a part of the process. And so if you don't have that, you can't demand as high of mine is way lower than that. It is on that one. You can't demand as high of a price as you might be able to once you're more established as an artist and people know your name. So getting things going on social media is going to help that, but there's really no way for me to know what you should charge. And I know that's not helpful. I have a video on pricing your artwork. I mean, it's a way to start. I don't charge a ton, but I've got a bit, people know who I am a bit more because of YouTube. So, and I've been doing it for a long time. So those are just things to keep in mind. And what I will always recommend when you're trying to figure out your prices, start lower and raise them slowly as the demand comes. Don't start at $3,000, and then have to go back and lower the price because it's not selling. That doesn't look good. Again, I'm not saying sell it for $50. I'm saying, be reasonable, but don't jump into the high end of what you eventually want for the work, because it probably won't sell just yet. Now, if you can get that price, great. If you start getting a demand for your work, amazing. But like I said too, so much of it has to do with the demand for the work, people knowing who you are. Your skill level matters, but I mean, you can take somebody who is the most phenomenal artist, but if no one knows who they are, it's going to be very hard for them to get the sale. Whereas someone who's more mediocre, but everyone knows who they are, that person may get the sale over the person who is actually a better artist. And I know it's subjective who's better, but it's just using, making that point. It's getting that name out there. So there's no way for me to tell you. And I know that's not helpful. We all want someone to tell us what the work is worth. It just doesn't, there's no way to really do that. Oh, hold on. My computer is not plugged in. I forgot we had that thunderstorm and I unplugged it. I'm looking at my screen going, why is it so dim? Because I'm a genius. That's why it's so dim. There we go. Oh, I can see again. Whoa, that actually kind of makes a difference on how bright the work is. Let's see. Paul said, just knew the true story behind the Afghan girl with the green eyes cover on Nat Geo magazine. It's really important as an artist to be responsible with model permission. Yeah, I haven't looked into that one. I've never drawn that one, so I never looked into that one. Jason said, how about bare then the leaves because the overlap would look good. And that was kind of my thought process on which one went first between the koala and, hey, look, I knew what you were talking about this time. Between the koala and the leaves, that was part of what I was thinking too. Have I ever used OMS with graphite? I tried it and I don't even remember what I thought. I didn't try it enough to want to do it again, if that helps. Phyllis said, your moderators seem like good guys. Nice work on keeping her from being upset. Yes, they're amazing. I like it. Seriously, absolutely. Speaking of, check out their channels. Links are in the video description. They both have art channels here on YouTube. Martha said, what's your most favorite deep and bright pinkish purple pencil, if it exists? Pinkish purple. So, see, the bright is the problem. What do I have? I've got bright pinkish purple. So, probably going to be my Faber-Castell Fuchsia. Nice. That's a pretty bright, on the black it won't be that bright. That one is kind of pinkish purple. This one is a little bit more. This is the crimson. See, and I don't know why that one would be crimson. To me, crimson is red. It's not super bright though. It's kind of a darker magenta. And I also I have them all bunched together because these are the ones I grabbed. My middle purplish pinks. What is with the middle thing? Well, so there you go. It's actually called purplish pink. But those ones are pretty good. Not super bright. Then we have light purplish pink, which is more of a pink. That one's pretty good. But I would say my Prismacolors or not Prismacolors, what the heck? My polychromos have the better tones as far as the bright colors. The Derwent Lightfast, they have a color called Heather that I really like. It's not bright. It's a little bit more muted. It's that lavender color. This is definitely a go-to pencil for me. But there weren't a lot in the way of pinks. No, there's not a lot of pinks in that set. But there are more colors that came out, so I'm excited to get those. Let's see. Oh, that just jumped. Whoa, that jumped a lot. There we go. Daniel said, understood. Thank you so much. It was why I was wondering, because I need to build my reputation, so I appreciate the response. Cheers. Yeah, and you can't super take, I mean, okay, sometimes it can be a level of your skill as to whether or not something sells, but more often than not, it's who you are. Do people know who you are? That's what you really want to build up. Zed said, in my experience, the first thing is to get the cost of used materials back. Yes. Then on top of that, you need to start adding costs based on technical skill, exclusivity, and demand. Yes, very good points. Okay, so this guy, this is why I was kind of like, which one goes first? He, with the blues, goes in between some of these dots here. So I don't want to just go on top of the one that we did here. I'm kind of going in between because I want it to look like this one is behind. And these guys are curving out a bit. And we're going to do the same thing we did on the other ones and come back and forth with a few other colors. He's a little bit more scraggly. He doesn't have a ton of little wisps. I'm probably going to put more in just because I like the look. I'm going to start pushing a little harder because I want that blue to show up a bit more than what I'm getting. And again, we'll come back through in between these dots. Oops. Yeah, and if you guys who are watching, if you can share the video, that really, some people say it really helps. Some people say it doesn't. It doesn't hurt. We know that. If nothing else, it makes me get all gooey like, oh, somebody liked my video. Makes me happy. Okay, so here's our blue. Now we're going to come on top. I'm curious, how many of you guys are drawing this with me? Or are you going to go back and draw later? Like, who's doing this with me? I'm going to take a light blue. So this one is, we'll see if this looks very good. And remember, there's no, I don't know what color I need next. I'm picking up a color going, that might work. Let's try it. If it doesn't work, I'm going to put it down and try a different color. Don't work yourself up about, I need to know the perfect color. The color's not that big of a deal. Your values, dark's dark enough, light's light enough. I know you're sick of hearing me say that. I need to change my, my merch. I want to change that to include it, but I'm afraid people who are not artists will completely misinterpret what that is and somebody's going to get beat up. So I'm kind of hesitant. Maybe on a coffee mug would be safer. But that's what's going to make the biggest difference. Get your values in there. If your darks are, that's probably the thing most people miss is getting the darks dark enough. And I mean, here it's not as big of a deal, but when you're drawing something that you're trying to make a realistic looking tiger, I keep using that as an example. If you get those darks dark enough, you start creating that depth, making them look more three-dimensional. Having the perfect orange color or the perfect brown color just looks flat. That didn't help you to know the perfect color. Chances are there's 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 different colors in there or values to create that realistic look. Heather said, I watch your lives and go back and do the art. It's funny. I had a student who used to, this actually I really like. So this color here is the light cobalt blue. And I'm going to put these on the ends. Makes it stand out nice. I had a student who would paint something, and normally when I worked with people in person, you had to watch because occasionally you'd get someone who would pretty much just try to get you to do all the work for them so that they could have a finished painting. And I'm like, I'm going to charge you a whole lot more than this class session for a completed painting by me. Like, you literally are asking me to do a painting for you and not learning from it. But I had one student, her name was Virag. Loved her. She was just phenomenal because she learned, like, she was with me for years in watching the way that she progressed. So she found it was easier to have me really help and have me do most of the brush strokes on her paintings. If we had a smaller class and I had time, she would have me do the majority of it. And then she would go home and do it on her own on another canvas. And then she would bring the canvas she was working with me on, have me do as much as we had time for me to do it. She learned so well that way. So some people, it really helps them if they can watch first. She was definitely one of my favorite students. Like, it was just cool to see how much she progressed. So getting the tips of these. Get a few in here. Where were we? Baby Pandas 101 said, I'm attempting to draw with you. Nice. Make sure if you post this on Instagram, tag me in it. I would love to see what yours look like. Usually yours look better than mine because you guys can take a bit more time. Dan said, I'm going to make something like this after I finish some errands tomorrow. Fun. Vidalani, I'm sorry, I know I'm mispronouncing your name, said, I managed to draw a dandelion, an exploding spider, and some weird spatial anomaly. Nothing resembling a firework just yet, but the night is young. That is awesome. Zed said, I'm painting clouds in blue and yellow right now, and there are so many small details that I'm trying to blend without making a green mess. It's driving me nuts. Yeah, you've got to be careful when you're mixing blues and yellows in a sky. That's definitely a challenge. A tip that may be easier for you, in between the blue, and this doesn't always work because sometimes they would meet, but if you can get a little bit of purple or magenta in between the yellow and the blue, just a thin area, that can give you a better transition between the two. Makes it a little bit less messy. Let's see. Andrea said, that scrolled too far. Andrea said, I would love to be drawing this with you, but alas, I have my puppy and he won't let me, so I wait until later to try to draw the drawing lesson. Starving Artist Collective said, Gibson is distracting us again. That dog, oh my gosh. Here, can you... Yeah, you can mostly see him. That's classy, Gibson. That is really classy. Let's see. Where were we? We're going to start in just a moment. We've got a little bit more on this guy. And we're going to do this little, the shooty lights coming from below. Let's see. Jason said, I have major construction going on and dust all over, so not art supplies until it's clean. Watch later to do it. That would be hard. Lance said, I have been watching your channel for a few years now. I've caught your last 3 live streams. Was very excited about the charcoal one earlier in the week. Nice. Did you see on Wednesday? Wednesday night I got a whole bunch more charcoal, so we're going to be doing more of that. I'm excited. I need to get a container to store it. There is a fly in here. Dang it. Casey said, not following along right now, but I'm going to do a combo piece of your bee on the flower, but instead of a sea anemone with the fireworks and dandelions from next week. Nice. Yeah, Gibson is disassembled. Yeah, he is comfy. Andrea said, it's amazing how you take a photo and bring it to life. Love this. Yay. Let's see. Did you ever use OMS? I answered that one already. I had tried it, but I don't remember if I super liked it. So I've never done it again, so I must not have liked it. Aaliyah said, I was thinking this might be fun tomorrow. Today working on butterfly and pastels. Yeah, tomorrow is super fitting for this if you're in the US, huh? Okay, so I'm going to get some orange right in the center. I'm going to line the outer area here, pushing a little harder because this is a polychromo, so it's softer. We're going to go around there, let that fade out. Okay, now we've got these little lines coming out. Now there are some extra lines in those. I'm not going to go super crazy with it because the reference photo I'm looking at is, there's other ones that haven't exploded yet. So we're just going to put a few of these. And it looks like we've got that same, the brown ochre 50%. I'm just going to sketch that in. We've got behind this guy, we'll just put a little bit. Mine are in kind of a different location than that. I'm going to make mine coming out curved. Almost makes them look like flowers, huh? And so I'm going to start with the lighter area. Just kind of putting that in there. And I'm just going to build this up till it looks semi how I want. I may hate this. I may love it. I don't know. If you're doing this after the fact, you definitely get to wait and see if it looks worth copying. Let's make a little go up into this guy. Yeah, this should work. And I'm not pushing very hard, just getting little sparkles. We'll call these Please Don't Burn My House Down sparkles. We have this ongoing, so I'm in my neighborhood group on Facebook. It amazes me how many people do not care if they potentially burn someone's house. And we're kind of in a field, like there are dry fields around us. You do not want to start a fire in this area. And the people who like don't care that it's against the law to burn them. And if anybody is like, please don't burn my house down, they get all like, oh, you're Karen. And it's like, no, I don't want to lose my house. Please don't burn my house down. Kind of funny with that. So I'm calling these Don't Burn My House Down sparks. I'm going to use my Derwent light words are hard. Derwent Drawing Chinese White, because that's more opaque, so it'll show up real nice. Owens Art said, hi Lisa, saw you were painting fireworks and thought I'd pop over to see what background you were using. Yeah, super easy. I didn't draw in a background. It's just my black Canson Mi-Teintes paper. I'm not even putting a background in on this guy. So we're going to just lightly go through this. More Don't Burn My House Down sparks. Just call me Karen because I don't want my house burnt down. Last year, before I'd even moved in, I had joined the group and I was watching and they did start a fire out in one of the fields. Like, idiots. So like there's reason to be concerned. Luckily now the fields aren't as much around my house, so it's more their houses they'll be burning down, but still, can we just not do that? Be amazing. Kind of like these little trails here. Now what I'm doing, I'm not blending this in. I'm letting this be pretty rough. It's very grainy, gritty looking. And you'll often hear me say with colored pencils, I avoid that grainy, gritty look. But in this case, it works. Like it just works for the look we're going for. So I'm not pushing hard. I'm not going to try to blend this out. We're just going to I'm kind of skipping back and forth so I get some variation. Let's see. Whoop, there we go. Where were we? Phil said, can you explain how did you schedule your commission? Commissions. Oh, when I used to take commissions, I just had a list of knowing who was next on the list. I usually didn't have a long commission. I kind of would announce, okay, when I was out of commissions, then I would go ahead and announce that I had commissions open. But I didn't really do much in the way of scheduling it because I just kind of got new ones as I finished the old one. I would then advertise again. Okay, commissions available. But that's all I did. And I just would write down which name was which. And I could keep track by emails. Now I get too many emails, too much. Like that was before YouTube. Once YouTube really started taking over, I didn't have time for them anymore. But now my email list wouldn't work because it's too full of all kinds of stuff. But back then I went largely by what was in my email. Like that and just writing down the name of who was next. But I could go and look up the email to figure out like exactly what we were doing. So I don't know that that's how I would do it now if I were taking commissions, but that's what worked for me then. And at one point, I did add to my website. I didn't leave it long, and I don't remember why, but I added to my website so that I could like update, because I saw another artist who focused on commissions do it, and it was really cool. They had the name, whether it be the first name or like anonymous, and then the state or something like that, but who was next on the list. So you could go and see, like it was kind of cool for people who were on a waiting list to see how long till theirs came, that was a really cool way to go. Let's see. Whoops. Let's see. There's a bridge with wooden boards opposite my house. Last bonfire night, people started setting fireworks in the middle of it. It amazes me. And the funny thing is, the neighbors who are like all pro, oh, I want to set fireworks. Their arguments and their attitude, and you can see the way they post other things in the group, they're just kind of selfish a-holes. Like, they're not super nice people. Like, they're not considerate of their neighbors, that whether it be their dogs barking all the time and telling people, it's my dog's yard, he has the right to bark all he wants. Actually, it's city ordinance says otherwise, but whatever. I mean, you see people who are just very inconsiderate. Like, I want to do it. I don't care if I live right next to somebody else and it affects them. It amazes me. Like, everyone who is all pro firework last year, I've been watching them since, the other posts, and it's like, you're kind of a crap human, aren't you? Like, you're not at all considerate of your neighbors. And so people will complain about so I'm in an HOA. And people will complain about not wanting to be in one. No, you know what? I'm glad I'm in one. Yeah, sometimes it's inconvenient because I have to go through when I wanted to plant my crepe myrtles, I need to get approval for that. But overall, some of the crap I see neighbors try to do where they're being inconsiderate of the person who lives right next to them, I'm like, I am thankful I have an HOA and it keeps these idiots from doing things that impact your home's value, or you're like, some of the stuff you're just like, oh my gosh, how are these people so inconsiderate of their neighbors? I don't understand that. Luckily, the area I'm in, like, the neighborhood's kind of big, and so my section, all the neighbors have been cool. Like, all the drama comes on the other side of the neighborhood. So there's not really much more that I wanted to do on this guy. I wanted kind of the red, whitish, and bluish fireworks. You can sit though. We had other, not that one. We had the other photograph that I posted had it was really neat with the red, white, and blue. And again, whatever colors work for you. Right now, we're 4th of July, so it seemed pretty fitting. You can, whatever you want. I mean, it's really open to what appeals to you. The thing is to watch that you're getting these different tones. You don't want to just do one like these guys. That would be very easy to look at these and think, okay, one color. I just, it's white, just put white dots. Yeah, but then it's flat. It's better. And I don't know how well this shows for you guys, but do the white and then circled all of them with the toned down color. In person, it's like, wow, it made a huge difference. Maybe not so much on the video, but in person, it made a really huge difference. Here, getting these multiple colors, not just doing things flat, that really makes a difference in what that end result is. So one of the things that I wanted, and we can sit and chat because this is it. Sign it. We can. Let's see. Where do I want to sign this? I don't know. I'm looking. I guess this can just be down at one of the bottoms. I wanted to show you the turtle that we're going to be doing too. So let me grab that. But yeah, I have like 20 more minutes allotted for you guys. So if you have questions about whatever, orchids, whatever, we can sit and chat. So this, let me see if I can get him to where you can really see him. I'm so excited about this drawing. It's drawn out. Oh gosh, that looks like way darker than, whoa. We have some lighting issues there. Let me back this up a bit. Oh wait, can I zoom out? Maybe I can just zoom out. I think I am zoomed out though. Let us see. Configure video. I can zoom out. So he looks like way darker. It's actually really, you can see by my hand, like it's dark. I've got it really dark so that the fireworks showed up. Well, but he's going to be, he's in color. This is going to fade into black and white. Everything on the outer edge of the square is going to be with the water-soluble graphite, and the fish, the coral, everything in here, the color will be with watercolor pencils. So that is the project. Once I get the owl finished, we're going to jump into this one, and that'll be up on Patreon in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, I'm really excited about him. I'm going to move that so you guys who are following along with these guys, you can see that. Let me move this back so I don't want to have this get kicked by me and or messed up. There we go. You comfy, Gibson? You're bored, aren't you? Okay. Let's see. And if you have a question for me, make sure to do the Outlaw Creed Fine Art. If it doesn't highlight in orange, I don't see it. Not because I'm trying to ignore you. I just won't see it. I'm going to go ahead and configure this while we're sitting here for a second, because the color looks a little weird now. Oh, probably because I zoomed in. Yeah, that is actually why. But let me see if I can fix it for you either way so it's as accurate as possible. That looks a lot better. And then I can probably zoom back in. Nope, let's zoom back in and focus. Yeah, that's probably going to be as good as it'll get. Okay. Let's see. Jason said, how about a small trail for the middle burst of fireworks? Yeah, I was thinking about that. That's not a bad idea. We can do, I'll sketch that out while we sit. The reference photo doesn't have it, but I think it would be cute. So let's go ahead. I like it. Where does the reference photo from the turtle? I think I got that one from Pixabay. I'll make sure you guys know when I do post it because I saved it. Pharaoh said, I love the charcoal trees, but I've sprayed it twice and it's still smudging. It's in a sketchbook. Is it wishful thinking to think I'll be able to completely seal? Oh yeah, charcoal will always smudge some. That's completely normal. I guess maybe come down this way. Totally normal, and you're going to seal it as much as possible, but it'll never be completely sealed, like never 100%. And that's the same thing with pastels. It's never 100%, like to where it would never smudge again. You can improve, you know, you want to spray it for sure because it does help, but it will never be 100% smudge free like acrylics. And that was initially one of the reasons that I stopped working in charcoal. It wasn't because back then it didn't bother me to have messy hands. Like it didn't even cross my mind that was an issue. When I was younger, the issue I had is I couldn't store it. Where do I store this? It gets smudged. No matter how much I spray it, it always will get smudged. So I would need to frame it, but I didn't have money for frames. So now, I mean, I have storage boxes that I'll store things in, but that was why I stopped initially. And then that's probably why I got all neurotic because it had been so long since I used them. But yeah, that was, oh, are you up? That's normal. Leah said, oh man, whoop, that just scrolled. Where were we? Oh man, I'm so looking forward to the turtle. That is going to be awesome. Yeah, and then I have another one. The project I want to do after that is a really long, thin, it's, I don't know, about yay tall, really long. I think it's like 36 inches long. Really neat canvas I had from Frederick's. And that one is going to have, I downloaded 2 or 3 sea turtles from Wildlife Reference Photos. I want the sea turtles and some coral and the blue with the white. I'm so excited. And the only color I want in coral besides the blue tones is red because I want to put this above the dog crates. Originally, and I still need to do it, I want to do a painting with Gibson with coral. I just haven't gotten the right reference photo. So in the meantime, I want to do that. And I thought those splashes of red in my dining room would be so pretty above their crate. So yeah, that'll be coming. So I've got 2 sea turtles coming up. Zed said, have you ever watched Avatar, The Last Airbender? Just started it. It's really good. Inspired me to begin practicing more of my comic and anime style. I've seen my husband has watched it because he likes anime. I've seen him when he watches, but I haven't really sat down myself. I never sit down and watch much of anything. Like if I watch something, like I'll put Harry Potter on while I'm working, or usually it's audiobooks more than anything. But like I used to, my old studio, I had a TV in it. I don't have one in here. I still need to put one so I can listen to Harry Potter while I work. But yeah, I don't really have time to watch many things. So anime is one of those that I never really got super, super into. Although I did like, I really liked, it was Edward and Alphonse, Full Metal Alchemist. I really liked that one. I think there was another one that I really liked. Ergo Proxy. Loved that. Was that actually considered anime though? I don't know. But those are like as close as I've come. And that was because in both of those I watched because we used to, at our apartment back in California, so years and years and years ago, we had our computers were in the same room as the TV. So my husband would be watching it while I was playing Warcraft. And that's how I got into those. But now we're just not set up that way. So I don't really watch much. Serendipity Soul Fluid, that is a long name. I'm still reading it. Wait, it jumped while I was reading because it's long. Fluid Art with Jan. We'll go with Jan. Said, have you used watercolor pencils on a large piece? I have a couple of ideas. Just bought some from Artzea. I hope they blend well. I think 16 by 20 is what I've used them on so far. And those blend. The ones I've used, I've got Derwent, Caran d'Ache, and Faber-Castell, and all of those were wonderful. Casey said, once I find a store that sells time management skills, I'm going to try to finish all my other incomplete projects so I can do that turtle. That's funny. If you find that store, please let me know. DJ said, love the fireworks, so pretty, thank you. Paul said, yes, some people just want the world to burn, then they call you names when you want to be a decent human being. Yeah, kind of crazy, right? Is that a bird right there? Sorry, I get distracted easily. No, yeah, I'm just blown away with, and the virtue signaling, like, well, I'm a better person because of this, and it's like, no, you're still a crap human. Like, one good thing, you're still a crap human. Yeah, luckily, like I said, those neighbors are on another side of the neighborhood. Like, you're separated by builders, and whoever bought in my builders, you don't have many of those type of people. They all seem to be up in another builder area. So yeah, I don't get it. Sneak said, how would you add smoke left in the air from the other fireworks? In this one, I don't want to do it to this one because it would kind of mess it up on the black, but I would probably end up blending out with OMS, putting a light color, so like maybe a grayish blue or a dark gray, a dark blue, something kind of dark, and putting that in there and then blending with the OMS. Or, I mean, you could leave it kind of soft like this, but again, you wouldn't want to go, we often think smoke, put white, but if you put white, it's going to draw attention from these. So I wouldn't want to do white smoke up against the black in this case. I would go with a darker bluish gray, something kind of dark, and just lightly, you can either lightly go in it over it like this and not blend it, or you could blend with OMS if you wanted a really soft look, but that would probably be how I would attack that. Jackie said, I forgot it was Friday. I missed it. Looking great. I'll have to watch on catch up. Alice said, Tortoise looks great. LOL. Tortoise. Oh, are you naming things again? You're naming things again, aren't you? Sergi said, do you ever think about the many artists? That just scrolled too far. Hold on. Here we go. Do you ever think about the many artists you have inspired throughout the years and the people that have fallen in love with art because of your work? No, but I am now. That's cool to think about. That's really cool to think about. Birds. JPC 13 Art said, I would wear a lights light enough, darks dark enough hoodie all the time. So you should make merch that says words are hard. Yeah, words are hard. Yeah, that's, that one's safe. I think we can get away with that. Let's see. Jason Ellis says, or is it a turtle? Avatar, The Last Airbender is great. I have the DVDs for both series. That one is a turtle. It's a sea turtle. I think, what is it? The sea turtles, and then you've got tortoise are the land ones. Is that how it is? Water? I don't know. Pizza Face said, whoops, where are we? Come back. It's been 3 years since Dad and I got to go buy fireworks, but man, it's so much fun to shoot them off and watch little pieces of art explode. And I get where they're fun, but I also think it's really fun to have all my fingers and my house, which is the more fun area. I mean, and I understand. I mean, as a kid, I remember setting them off, but I also remember kids blowing off their fingers. So, I mean, which is, I'm sure it's fun to do a lot of things I don't, I hear LSD is a blast. I'm not going to do it. But yeah, I mean, at what point do you? So I understand where people think it's fun. It's just like being, in this case, considerate of, like, if you're out in the middle of, well, and even out in the middle of nowhere, are you in a place where you can prevent fire? Because usually out in the middle of nowhere, you've got a lot of dry brush. This is one of those things I definitely kind of prefer cities to put on the bigger shows where things are in control. Is definitely my preference. But like I said, I get where it's fun, but I get where a lot of things are fun that I don't think are good ideas. Allie said, does fluid acrylic with a Riger brush or acrylic paint marker give finer details? Huh? Rigor. See, okay, so fun fact about me, I am self-taught. I don't know all the names. That probably means something important. Is that the angled one? What are you called? Hold on. Is it you? Nope. You are not. I will say though, for me, let's see, does fluid acrylic with the, I would go with a liner brush. I don't know if that's what that is, the same thing. If it's with a liner brush, so fluid acrylic or acrylic paint marker. I don't recommend using markers. I don't recommend using paint markers on your work unless you want it to be very obvious you used paint markers on your work. If you're going for something that's more realistic and you're trying to get that fine detail, those paint markers are obvious you used a marker usually. You don't have much control on having a line like we do what we would call a dowel stroke, where it starts thin, gets a little thicker because we added more pressure, and then we lift the pressure so it thins out again at the end of the stroke, and it gives you a very natural look, like if you're drawing fur or grass or something like that. You can't do that with a marker quite the same. So you're limited on a marker, and like I said, it's obvious it's done with a marker when you use those. So I would always say fluid acrylic with a liner brush is going to be a better way to go. Whoop, that's gonna jump. You are gonna jump, are you? Yep, you jumped. Where are we? Here we go. Leah said, the long canvas with the turtles and red coral sounds great. I'm still working on the manatee and oils. I like manatees. Serendipity. Okay, it's Jan. I remembered this time to jump to Jan. I think I have a new channel to binge watch. I don't know how I haven't ever come across your channel before. What a joy. Well, thanks. Welcome. Phil said, what are the next week's live stream projects? So next week we're continuing on the koala. I'm leaning towards starting the koala, and because the branches aren't 100% done. We have details to do on them. But I think what we're going to do is start on the koala, and then I don't know how far. We'll see how far we get into him. And then I'm going to, after we get that done, over the next week. So it'll be koala, leaves, and then the final details for everything kind of all at once. So that'll be a very almost boring to watch, but you'll be able to follow along and see the way that I do those final details. Normally in a sped up video, all you see is my hand moving. I usually cut it out because you see my hand moving, but it's not obvious what's happening. So that'll be a good one. But so that's going to be Wednesday for the next couple of weeks or few weeks. And then I'm thinking next Friday, I want to do on, probably a different tone, some kind of colored paper. It'll be Canson Mi-Teintes again. I want to do a dandelion. So it's similar to this, but we're going to go a little bit more realistic too, like more details, a bit more involved. So that is my plan for next week. And then the following week, I don't know, I wanted to do some water-soluble graphite. I want to do charcoal because I just bought all those charcoals, or, more suitable charcoal. So we'll get some of that in there. I'm not sure what that'll be. It won't be acrylics on Fridays for a while because we've got acrylics every Wednesday for a while because I like to try to mix up some of the mediums. Let's see. Pizza Faces, all you have to do is run back away. Yeah, but if you started someone's house on fire, running away isn't going to do them any good. Phil said, okay, got that one. Imagination Art said, you should check out Sword Art Online. My brother got me into it and it's really good. It's on Netflix. Huh, I haven't heard of it. I haven't watched Netflix in forever. Pizza Face said, if you handle them correctly, which is not to hold them in your face, you are fine. Oh, see, and then that's the thing with fireworks. So yes, if you handle them correctly, you're probably safe. Do you know how stupid people are? Like, there's a reason people keep blowing their hands off. Like, there's a reason. And so, and most of the time, when, like my neighbors, when they're putting off fireworks, they're also drinking. What an awesome combination. Let's really make sure you burn down someone's house. Like, it's just, you're putting more faith into people not being absolute idiots and doing really stupid things than I put into people. Maybe it's because I'm old and I've seen the stupid crap people do. I'm just like, please take your stupidity elsewhere. Not next to my house with fire. Let's see. Oh, this is going to jump. There it goes. I knew it was coming. You could tell because it kind of froze. Let's see. JPC13 Art said, rigor in another world is another word for liner brush. Okay. Is it rigor? I'm not saying that right at all. Is that a difference in location, or is that how it is in the US too? And I'm just dumb. I may just be dumb. See, this is what I'm saying about fireworks. Some people are just dumb and you don't want them playing with fireworks. I can't even say that paintbrush name right, and I'm an artist. You don't want me playing with fireworks. Let's see. Casey said, maybe a sea anemone in water-soluble graphite. Yeah, that would actually be real. I did one, though, in water-soluble graphite already. I do have a video on Patreon. I think it's on YouTube, too, wait. Do I? I mean, I know I did it, but I think, did I do that one for Faber-Castell? It didn't get used, so it should be on Patreon. I think you guys have that one, but for a live stream, that would be good too. Jason said, that was what I was trying to spell. The land crawler, like on, what? I can't say that. Island have the large land tortoise and sea turtles. Oh, okay. Zed said, what? That just jumped. At my work, 5-year-old kid came in after New Year's with a second-degree burn on his neck from a firework. His father lit it, and it fell over and got launched towards them. Ouch. See, and just stuff. And I know, I mean, you can only be safe. You can't be 100% safe all the time. But there's certain things like how common it is fire. Well, that and how freaked out dogs. You know how many dogs get out of yards because of fireworks? And I'm not saying don't have city-run fireworks. I'm saying maybe let's not blow them off in front of people's houses where their dogs go into a complete panic. But they, how many dogs get out of, will jump fences? Dog never jumped a fence in its life. Heard the fireworks, complete panic. Like it's just, I don't know. I just wish people weren't using them personally unless they were in an area like away from others. You want to burn down your own house, go for it. But yeah. Phil said, that is great because you can have 10 to 20 hour long detailed painting and we can get the live streams. Yeah, exactly. I'm really liking that separating everything, like the koala one. It's working. I think that's going to work out well. Whoops. Hold on, that's rolled too far. Andrea said, will you ever do a painting of maybe freshwater fish, like an angelfish or some pretty tall grass? I love the saltwater reef paintings, but love freshwater tanks. So I need to find good reference photos, and that's one of the things that's a challenge for me. Like I have a really hard time finding good reference photos of any freshwater fish. Like, and people have sent me photos, and I'm like, I mean, I can tell what fish it is, but it's not a good reference photo. I'm going to have to look into that for sure, and I would like to do some because it'd be perfect to have those available for Aquashella whenever that happens again. So that I've been having a hard time finding reference photos, like good reference photos. I want to. Jason said, my brother's friend just did that and was drunk and destroyed his hand. Not even worth it. Let's see. Jan said, we were watching fireworks in our town many years ago and some idiot in the crowd started setting some off and went AWOL and literally hit my son in the chest. Oh my God. That is scary. Casey said, where I live, people like to set off fireworks at a lake in the middle of a huge forest. Good idea? I think not. See, and that's what I'm saying. You can say, yeah, use common sense. People don't have that, and they're all drinking on 4th of July. Like, what an amazing combination. Let's get even stupider than you already were when you bought the fireworks thinking that was a good idea. And now we added alcohol, and it's also in the summer, because, you know, that's when we like to set them off here, and dry brush, and, I mean, no. No. Dawn said, hello, I have an acrylic painting question. I wish I could speak. I could answer your question. I am working on a landscape painting that has a lot of branchy trees in the background. Which brush would you recommend? Branchy, well, I mean, it depends on the look that you're going for. Are you going for something that is like super fine detail, like detailed front to back, which I don't like. I personally like to make things fuzzy in the background. I personally switch the airbrush as I get further back. But in that case, I mean, again, it depends on the look that you're going for. If you're going for a lot of detail, a round brush, probably around usually. Sometimes a small filbert will really work well. It depends on the leaf type and the way that you're painting those. Like there's no way for me to really answer that without, you know, having a better idea. What I would recommend you do, get a scratch canvas. So like Fredericks has their their canvas pads. Those are great for just doing a little, you know, get the brush stroke, get an idea of what you want there. Or you take a piece of paper and gesso it, whatever you want to do as a scratch thing. And try a few different styles, a few different brushes, and a few different looks to see what you think looks best. But there's so many different ways to do that. There's no way to say this is the brush that should always be used for that. Let's see, I have neons and shrimp on my aquarium for reference. Those are tiny. Those are really tiny. Neons are still, I like, they're so cute, the Huddle School. We need reference photos for those. Let's see. Leah said, where were we? I just, wishing everyone a happy 4th and fun and safe holiday. Yes, I agree. Jason said, again, that boat with the glass bottom and take your pictures from that. Yeah, I went on a glass bottom boat ride once in Catalina Island and Claremont in California. That's where we got married that night. We went on the glass bottom boat tour. I saw some lobsters and that was about it. There wasn't a lot out. It was at night, but the pictures were not practical. Let's see. Oh, that's cool. Sarah Bean Artist Collective said, she's in Australia. She said, all of our firework displays are set off, whoop, that just jumped, in Sydney Harbour Bridge. Very spectacular. See, and I love, like, when they're professional. I actually enjoyed the other night, like I was saying, below us, there's a community, and it's not a town. I think it's the same city we're in, but their community, God, words are hard, did a show, and I could stand on my patio and got to watch him. Me and Gibson stood out there. Gibson couldn't see him. He heard him. He was just like walking around the yard like, whatever, I don't care. That is like the most, it takes a bit to really spook him. Oh wait, no, I take that back. If I drop a spoon or drop anything, he freaks out. But besides that, we were just standing out there watching, which was really cool, but it's like, the people putting them on are not likely also drunk at the time. They've got it under control. There's firemen around. Like, I really wish that was how everyone just enjoyed them. Let's see. We have talked a lot about illegal firework usage, haven't we? And the ones I'm talking about are actually illegal because you're not allowed to set them off in our city, and people do it anyway. And their justification, this one kind of irritates me. The justification was that last year when they did it, someone had called the cops on them, and the cops showed up and were like, meh, just be safe. See, that sets a really bad precedent because now those same people are saying the cops said it was fine. The cops said it was fine. That cop shouldn't have, I wish that they hadn't. I mean, I understand they want to be friendly and everyone's just having fun and you want them to be safe. But at the same time, now that same person is in the group saying the cop said it was fine. No, I mean, that wasn't really what happened, was it? Ugh, frustrating. Anyway, Jan said sometimes I use a palette brush edge to lay in trees in the deep background. That actually works. That's a good suggestion. Then you can tap highlights in with a fan brush, layered to darkest to lightest values. Yes, that is a really good tip. There's so many different ways to paint trees. There's so many different ways like to layer and which brushes you use. There's just any number you can think of. There's more. Whatever number you come up with, there are even more ways. There's no one right way to do anything when it comes to art, which is cool. Well, unless it comes to things being archival. But I mean, for the techniques you use like that, there's so many different ways. That's a great way. What Jan just said. A great way. That was great grammar there, Lisa. Good job. That was a great way. Let's see. Okay. We've got 8 more minutes. If you guys have any more questions for me. I know there's always a delay, so I end up sitting here waiting oh, look, my dogs are both laying like normal dogs. Weird. Don said, I was looking for detailing trees in front of painting, also reflected in water, blurry ones in background. I will take your recommendation and try on a separate paper first. Yeah, and that's always the way to go. Whenever you're just not sure, like there's a technique you want to try and you're like, which way should I go? Why did I make a circle? Because it was my first one. I'm like, that one didn't even have the light in the middle. Sorry. Whenever you're like, I wonder which would be the way to practice, try it on another piece of paper or another canvas. This is one of the things I really like the Frederick's canvas pads for. And just for transparency, I am sponsored by Frederick, so no one is like, you only say that because you're sponsored. I already only use them, but I do want to be, upfront about that. But anyway, they have, and they're fairly inexpensive, these canvas pads that you can use, and you can try different things on them and see if that works for you. Or if you're working in colored pencil, have another piece of paper next to you, see if that works for you. Always test it out. With art, we're always experimenting. We're always trying something new. Don't get caught up in there's this kind of misconception that artists I always know what color to use. I always know which order I'm going to do things in. I always know. No, I never know. I'm always experimenting. Everything is experimenting. I mean, I'm working right now on, I showed you the owl earlier, this guy. So this is a painting I finished in 2015. And I've got to repaint using the same style background and a different owl. So different color background, same style. The way that you paint those backgrounds, you're experimenting constantly. You're constantly messing with it. It's like you get a layer and you're like, that layer didn't come out right. Put another layer over it. Getting better, don't love it, do it again. Everything is experimenting. And especially on a style like that where you've got that splattery look, you have to just keep layering until you get a layer that you like. But it's a building process. But everything is about experimenting. So if there's something that you don't know how to do, get a scratch piece of paper and try it. Just try it out. And you can look up videos like how to paint a bubble, whatever it is. There's probably a video that'll give you an idea. But even then, experiment and try different methods because there is no one, this is the way that you do do that. It's not a recipe. Well, I don't know. People who cook it my mom's pretty creative. She doesn't measure anything, but you get it's not like a definite order that you have to do things. You experiment. It's art. If you want to get good, you're going to experiment. Let's see. Leandro said, "Hi Lisa, thank you for inspiring us all. I've learned to properly use colored pencils with you. Yay! And also adventure myself with oils. How do you keep the blending brushes? What do you mean by how do you keep? Like when I clean them, so let's say this is it's a blush brush, but it could work. When I clean this, I rinse just the tips in the odorless mineral spirits. Now, let's see. Let me know when you say blending brushes. Are you talking about the acrylic? Are you talking about oil paint? Or are you talking about colored pencil? Because I need a little bit more information. Now that I started to answer that, I'm like, I don't think I'm getting what you're at. Like, which medium and what do you mean by, like, how do I store them or how do I clean them? Or I don't know, maybe let's talk about all of them. So colored pencil, how I store them, they are just in a cup, sitting like just in a cup upright with the bristles up here. Don't aim them with the bristles down or you'll damage those bristles. When it dries, I just lay it flat to dry when it's had OMS on it. The odorless mineral spirits that we use for blending colored pencil, that is a paint cleaner. It cleans the paint all on its own. So I just dip it in that brush or the brush in the paint thinner and then wipe it on a paper towel, on a Viva paper towel, and that will clean it. So that's how I would do for a colored pencil. For oil paint, the blending brushes that I use, like if you mean like a mop brush, I just rinse the tip in the OMS and then run it in circles on paper towel. And then when I'm done painting for the day, so that one is not going to be used for blending again. Once that's wet, it won't work. So that's why I need multiple mop brushes for blending with oil paint. But when I'm done for the day painting, I use the Masters brush cleaner. That works, the old Masters or the Masters, one of those. It's like a thing of soap, and you use it just soap and water, but I use paint thinner first and then that soap after to clean those brushes. And then with oil painting, those brushes, when you've used water to clean them, they need to be 100% dry before you use them again. So they'll set to the side for days before they're completely dry, before I'll use those same brushes. If I've used water, if I just use OMS, and if you just use OMS with oil paint to clean your brushes, they will start to harden up over time. So you do want to, every couple of uses, or every couple of days that you're painting, I should say, not even uses, because it depends on how long they're sitting. I don't want to let those brushes set for more than a couple of days before I've used that soap with water to really get them clean. Let's see. Yeah, okay, I've tried a couple of I should have read the next comment. I've tried a couple of makeup brushes, but they dried up and they're so hard to clean. So with oil paint, with those makeup brushes that you're talking about, that's the way that I clean them. First with OMS, and then get that, it's the old Masters or the Masters. The link should be under oil painting supplies on my website, lachri.com. But that brush cleaner, that's what's going to make your brushes last a lot longer. If you're only using your odorless mineral spirits or turpentine or whatever you choose to use, then yeah, it's not going to clean it 100%. You want to use like a soap type brush cleaner as your last step of cleaning your brushes for the day. That will make a big difference for you. Andrea said, I wanted to see your wall behind you. It looks really pretty, like you have time. It's not easy to really show because the way it's set up. And if you go over to Instagram, what was that? Wednesday, I did like kind of a quick tour on Instagram. Link should be in the description. I did a quick tour of the studio, sort of like how it was set up for the stream that night. You can see the wall in that one. So that's the best way to show you. Susan said, Lisa, thanks for the advice about experimenting. Yay, you are welcome. Oh, that just scrolled too far. There we are. Okay, Joseph says it's just the Masters, the brush cleaner. Thank you. Casey said, how are Viva paper towels different than others? Viva paper towels are like cloth. It's almost like a t-shirt, whereas normal, like these are Bounty, I think. They're papery. So it's a papery feel versus a fabric, like a cloth t-shirt type feel. So when you're using OMS or you're using oil paints at all, they don't play real well with normal papery paper towels. You want that cloth-like. And so Viva's the only one that I really like for that, or old rags, like actual fabric. PZ Cherokee said, last question. Which Potter movie is your favorite? I want to say it's the fifth one, and I don't remember the name. It's the one where Edward dies, but he wasn't a vampire. The Goblet of Fire. Is that it? Where they had the competition from all the other magic schools. was it Goblet of Fire? I think that one's probably my favorite, and then all of those before. Like the ones after weren't my favorites. They got a little too like, oh, this is actually serious and dark and kind of sad. I liked all the ones when they were younger, and like that one is probably my favorite. Like all the stuff, like the mermaids. I just love that one. It's so fun. Let's see. And Edward, I know his name's not Edward, and his name was not Edward in the movie, but from, because Twilight and whatever. Robert Patterson, whatever. I can't say names. Leandra said, you were right at first, how to clean them. Okay, yeah, so that should help you out. Cindy said, what are your thoughts on underpainting? I do underpaintings on almost everything. Whether it be in black and white, in brown, like in raw umber tones, or more often than not, I do underpaintings. Maybe not more often than not. It makes things way easier. And then to glaze the color on top, your life will be it's much easier to tackle something, because when you do that underpainting, you're really focusing on, you can get those details in there and you can work on the values. You're not really worrying about the colors. So once you get like that tackled, then you can worry about it. Just separates it two challenges into separate areas. So, again, values versus color versus trying to do all of it at once. So I think it makes it way easier to tackle. And also, I think it looks better. I really like the look of more layers anyway, so I think it's great. Okay, a couple more questions. Casey said, do you use your paint puck when you wash your brushes with the masters? No, but you could. That actually isn't, now that you say that, why am I not? You could just stick one of those little paint pucks at the bottom of your sink and like rub that in with the soap. My gosh, and I have those. You are a freaking genius. Why did that never cross my mind? That is a good idea. Or even in the cup would work. Thank you. I will now. I'm going to probably put one of my paint pucks in like a mason jar or something like that and start using that with it. That is cheap. Why did that not cross my mind before? Finalizing said Goblet of Fire, 4th book. Okay, so I like that. That one's my favorite. That's the one where like all the other schools came for the big competition, I think, right? That one's my favorite. Sophia said, oh, there we go. I watched this show, I can't say that, something rendezvous, not suit. I'm not going to butcher that. And loved the style of it, especially the flowers and BG they did. Interesting. I've not heard of it. Leon, I can't talk at all. Said, because I've tried to use vegetable oil to keep the brushes moist, but they lost the fluffiness. Oh, no. So, okay, what is happening for you? That oil, you want to get the oil out of your mop brush. So you're using a mop brush to blend. You want the oil out of the brush, because that oil is going to, when the brush is wet, it creates brush strokes instead of takes them away. You want this brush completely dry. So that explains a lot for me. So we found your problem. First step for cleaning, just the tips, whatever part actually has paint on it, in your paint thinner, whatever paint thinner you're using. I like Mona Lisa Odorless or Gamsol. Those are my two favorites. Rinse just that, dry it off in a paper towel. Let it dry out as much as possible, and then use a good soap. Some people use pink soap. I like the Masters. Use that. That'll problem solved. No more oil, no more vegetable oil. You want to get that out of those brushes. Makes so much sense. Sophia said, thank you for this live art. Have you ever used baby wipes for underpainting? No, because I don't know what chemicals, I don't know what's being used on that. And I know what you're talking about, where you like wipe things away. If I want to wipe areas out, and I think I know what you're talking about, I'm going to use a paper towel. I don't want any chemicals, like baby wipes would have stuff on it. I don't want that on my artwork. So I've not used that, but I have done where I've come through and pulled out highlights with, I'll just take a piece of, this isn't Viva, but I would take a piece of paper towel and just kind of wipe things off, or a Q-tip or cotton swab, depending on where you're located. That is the other way that I will pull up highlights like that. I've done that, but I'm not going to use an actual baby wipe that has any sort of chemical, because I don't know how that's going to last long term, so I'm not messing with it. Okay, we are at 3:04. I'm really hungry. I want a sandwich really bad. Man, what did we name him? Did we come up with a name? Did we decide on anything, or are we just laughing at everybody's names? He needs a name. Part of me thinks I just should call him Phil, because he's a Phalaenopsis, but that's, or Shill, I can't say that. What is it? Schilleriana. I'm not saying that right. I don't know if we had a name for him or not, but him and I are going to go have a sandwich. I'm really hungry. You've probably been listening to my stomach growl throughout the video. And we are good. I think we're all done. Thank you guys so much for joining. If you're new, please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell because YouTube does not notify people at all. That might help them to notify you when I've got lives up. I've also got words. Again, they're still hard. I've got a email newsletter. It is free. I normally send out 1, sometimes 2 emails a week. I'll usually send out the emails the days of the live streams to let you know. I forgot to do it today. I ran out of time. So that's my thing. So that is a really good way to be kept up to date, as long as it doesn't end up in the spam folder. So maybe not. Like the video if you can, share it. If you know someone who might have fun drawing some fireworks, please, please. That is one of the best things you can do. If you really want to help any YouTuber, share the video. Share it on Facebook. Just share it. Even if the people who you share it with aren't interested, you're like, I shared it on Facebook, but my family doesn't draw. YouTube just saw that the video was shared, and they're more likely to then show my video to more people. So that alone, that act, is one of the best things you can do for any YouTuber, is share their content. I will love you forever. I mean, I'd love you forever just because you were here. But I'll love you even more forever. Thank you guys so much. Again, check out our moderators. Joseph and Nick both have art channels here on YouTube. Make sure to check them out. Subscribe to them. Tell them thank you. They do so much. And I will see you guys on Wednesday. Bye. Sandwich time.